All right, we are back with another episode of The Bible is Weird, and we're talking today about talking, specifically a talking donkey. And this isn't from Shrek. um, this isn't a Pixar cartoon. This is from the Bible. Now, if you're doing our Bible in a Year series, we've already got through this. This is in Numbers 22. And I'll give you kind of a recap. So in the book of Numbers, we see a character named Balaam, and Balaam is kind of a prophet for hire, I guess you could say. Um, he is he's not an Israelite, but he is talking to like capital G God, Yahweh God, right? He's a prophet to the Canaanite people, and um, King of Moab brings him in. He wants Balaam to curse the Israelites. And Balaam at first says no, because God tells him no, that's his chosen people. But Balaam keeps kind of inching towards trying to get a yes out of God, like coaxing God to try to almost twist God's arm to get a yes. And while he's on the way, he's going, and the donkey goes off the road. Well, then it gets to a spot where he can't go off the road as far, and so he goes into the ditch. Then he gets to a spot where there's no ditch, and so it's like he ended up smashing Balaam's leg up against this wall. Balaam gets mad, hits the donkey, and the donkey turns around and like speaks to him, not makes donkey sounds. And my first thought is, I mentioned Shrek already, but the scene from Shrek where if you've watched Shrek, the first one, where the donkey gets the fairy dust and he starts flying, and everyone's he can fly, he can fly, he can fly, and then the commander guy's like he can talk. Um, but Balaam doesn't react that way. He just responds, right? Like it's not like it's not a surprise. It seems to him. And when this happens, keep in mind, this isn't the donkey's not just doing it on his own. The donkey is veering because he sees an angel in the road that God has put there to kill Balaam. Then when God opens the mouth of the donkey, he also opens the eyes of Balaam. And the word for open there is the same word for each of those. And so let's look into this a little bit more. So Balaam, like I said, he is a prophet of God. And we see this at the beginning, like he actually goes to God, Yahweh God. He is happy to sign blessings and curses to whoever, as long as the price is right. And this story, he's already been pushing the boundaries. Like I said, he is trying to get closer and closer and closer and closer and trying to twist God's arm to get God to do what he wants him to do. God finally tells him that he can go to Moab, but the text indicates that Balaam's heart is not fully in line. I think he's daydreaming about this big payoff. So God sends an angel to block him. Balaam is spiritually blind, doesn't see it, but the donkey does. Now, in this story, the donkey is the real MVP. In Hebrew culture, donkeys are known as like humble workhorses, but God uses this lowly animal to see what Balaam can't. This divine roadblock, if you will. When the donkey talks, it's a miracle, right? Uh, and like I said, the Hebrew word for open that God uses, or the author uses to talk about this donkey's mouth opening to speak, is the same one that's used to talk about Balaam's eyes being opened. So it's like God saying, if I can make this donkey talk, I can make you see straight too. But why the drama? Right? I mean, if Balaam is a prophet, why not just give him a vision? Why go through all these steps? Well, the story of Numbers, and like I said, if you've been following along with our Bible in a year series, you're already kind of up to speed on some of this. But the story of Numbers, it's a book about God leading his people through the wilderness. The Israelites are surrounded by enemies like Moab who want them gone. Balaam's story shows God is in control, even over shady prophets and foreign kings. The donkey bit is almost like comedic relief in this whole thing, but it's got teeth. It's God flexing his power to use anything, even a stubborn mule, to get his point across. It's weirder than a talking donkey or Balaam not really even freaking out. The text doesn't say that he's shocked, which some scholars think means that he's stubborn or arrogant. He just rolls with it. Either way, the donkey is smarter than Balaam here. He sees the angel, saves his life, and even calls him out. It's like God almost trolling Balaam. Like, you're a prophet? Cool. Even this donkey has eyes that are open more spiritually than yours. So, what can we take from this today? It's weird, right? But it's packed with truth. First, it's a reminder God's sovereignty is wild. He can use anyone or anything, even a donkey, to do his will for us. That means no matter how small or unqualified we feel, God can still work through us. Second, I think there's a lesson here about spiritual blindness. Balaam is a prophet, but he's missing the obvious. How often do we get so caught up in our plans or our pride that we miss what God's trying to show us? Like, maybe the roadblocks in our lives are there to protect us, not annoy us. And third, it's about humility. The donkey is the hero because it's obedient. It's not flashy. For Christians, that should be a gut check. Are we listening to God's voice even when it comes from unexpected places? Maybe it's a friend, a nudge and a prayer, or I don't think you're probably going to have a pet open his mouth and start talking. If you do, maybe it's not God. But you get the idea. God's always speaking. We just have to open our eyes, open our ears, and open our hearts to listen. Now, if this is a story you've been interested in before, put your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you've not read this before, I will put a link in this video at the end or in the description somewhere to go back to where we read through this in Numbers 22, and we can kind of break down there. You can read it and maybe start going through our Bible in a year with us if that's something that interests you. And hope this has been a blessing to you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, God bless.